Heading into the off-season, Purdue edge George Karlaftis was a top 10 pick in the 2022 draft class. However, over the last couple of months, his draft stock has definitely cooled without much chat or buzz at all. So I wanted to look at the film and figure out, is George Karlaftis now underrated? Or is the NFL draft community finally seeing him for the prospect he is, with a limited ceiling but a very high floor? Let's take a look at the film and find out together. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? It's Luke here from PLAJ. And honestly, I enjoyed diving into the George Karlaftis film. I watched 5 or 6 games of all 22. It really helped me get a picture of him. I think there are some aspects of his game that are just fantastic, and he just looks like a wrecking ball. First game I watched was against Notre Dame. He was terrific. But then after that, I saw some deficiencies that I think are going to lead to him dropping out of the top 10 and not being in contention for the New York Jets when they draft at number 10 overall. So let's take a look at this film now. And I wanted to start with the big positives against Notre Dame. The pass rushing was phenomenal. He wins in 2 ways. On the outside with a chop move or a little kind of abbreviated swim, or he also wins going through the chest with absurd speed to power. So let's look at that little chop to the outside first. Karlaftis, number 5 on the left-hand side of your screen at the defensive end position. And what you're going to see here is very subtle hand usage. He's a pro at this. This isn't a normal swim move where you see the right arm come all the way up past the ear. I want you to watch how he raises the hand though, and then crosses down and chops down on the right tackle's arms, knocks away the hands, and then he's able to turn that corner pretty fluidly. I'd say bend is not a strength of his. He flips his hips pretty well there. It's powerful, and he gets to the quarterback and impacts the play. At full speed now, you can see Karlaftis chop round the corner, turn well, and get to the QB. I love that. And there were a lot of examples of that on tape, maybe not as clean a bend as that, but definitely the cross chop, the ability to swim and then chop the hands down. There was very nice hand utilization, and that's how he likes to win around the corner. And when you then pair that with what he can do from a speed to power perspective, you start to get really intrigued about Karlaftis as a pass rusher. From the same position, stand up, left defensive end position, number 5, look at him come through the chest. He propels himself off that outside foot. Look at him plant that left foot in the ground, generate power to go through the chest. Even though he hasn't got the longest arms, he's actually got pretty short arms. He does a great job extending here, and look at the power. The ability to displace and push the tackle all the way back and generate another sack. Karlaftis does a fantastic job getting underneath the armpits, winning the leverage battle, and then look at him work the lower half in. The butt and the legs go to work, and that's when he starts to generate the force, and he's just a wrecking ball. It's like he's wiggling. He's just got so much strength, upper and lower body, and it's something that definitely stands out on the tape. And then Karlaftis showcases some of his pass rushing bag with a spin move like this that comes out of the blue. He's inside here in more a 3-tech kind of spot, an awesome spin move to get to the quarterback. But this is where I saw the first deficiency, and it's his ability to close sacks and to make tackles outside of his frame. Too many times with the arm length, he's not able to make plays that a defensive end has to make. He's got a free shot at the quarterback here. I understand he ducks a little bit, but look at this. He's dead to rights. Karlaftis has got 2 arms. He's not being held at all in a way that's going to stop him from making this tackle, and he can't affect it. He can't bring him down. That was concerning. But then it became a theme, and that's when the red light kind of started flashing for me. So what about in the running game? Because he showed the ability to impact that in multiple ways in this Notre Dame game as well. George Karlaftis, left-hand side of your screen. I want you to watch how well he's able to one-gap penetrate, the quickness and shiftiness on the inside. Just the way he's able to swim over the top, he sees that tackle starts to lunge at him, starts to be aggressive, beautiful swim, propels off the back, and then goes and finds the running back. It doesn't get any better than this. Just an awesome job utilizing quickness and making a great play in the backfield. But you're also going to see these kinds of plays from Karlaftis. He's able to stand up the tight end here, as he should, and look at him string him down the line of scrimmage. He's going to read and react. He bench presses. Look at the great use of length and leverage, even though, again, he's not the longest athlete. And he follows the running back down the line of scrimmage, and he's able to make a play. He's made the play, right? That's a tackle? Not quite. Again, tackling outside of his frame, the ability to reach and bring those guys down at full speed was something he lacked. But let's step away from the negative for a while. This is a fantastic play. I get that it's against a tight end. I love the way he's able to stand him up, string him out, move along the line of scrimmage, and then get to the running back. I thought that was a fantastic example, paired with the previous one, of the different ways he can impact the running game. So here's one more example, unfortunately, of George Karlaftis struggling to make tackles because of his arm length. Because I just wanted to give you a picture that this was a theme. Right hand side of your screen, number 5, does a nice job reading it out, finds the running back. Again, he's got 2 hands on him here. There's no one blocking Karlaftis, and he's just not able to wrap and stick that tackle. That's a bit of a concern. Look, he's moving at speed here. He doesn't get a chance to slow down his feet, but I still really want to see, your 275-pound defensive lineman be able to bring down the running back here, and that's a deficiency caused by the lack of arm length. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go kind of one negative, one positive, and take a look at these things I've talked about on the Notre Dame tape as far as George Karlaftis as a pass rusher. I talked about how he likes to win to the outside. He always wants to go for this little swipe. You can see on this occasion, it does not work. Why? Tackles with patience give him a lot of trouble to the outside. I saw this in the Northwestern game as well. Karlaftis tries to go for the swipe, but they do a nice job being patient with their hands and then get on him, and the play's over. Guard comes in and bullies him a little bit. You can't help that. But he just lacks a little bit of a counter sometimes, and it makes me think, I want to see you attack differently to the outside. But then he shows you something like this from the Minnesota game. He's coming from the right-hand side of your screen. You can see he wins pretty quickly here to the outside. He has the tackle lunging. Look at this counter. He understands, usually I swim over the top here with the left arm. Look at the rip back to the inside and get to the quarterback in a hurry. This is a fantastic example of being unpredictable, of stacking moves, of putting counters together to make it really difficult for the tackle. I loved this from George Karlaftis, and when I saw it, it gave me some renewed energy on the tape because I didn't see many of these counters, but this was a phenomenal example. Rip back to the inside, look how flat he is to the quarterback. That's fantastic. So we talked about the speed to power rushing and how that was a strength, and again, this is another great example of what it looks like when it goes well. He is phenomenal when he gets tight hands to the inside, is able to control the chest, get underneath. Look at the leverage battle. Look at the head go back of the right tackle. He's fantastic when he's able to work that lower body underneath his hands. Look how he wiggles and struggles to fight underneath the armpit to then pop through the inside. I think it's just a phenomenal job. That's really who George Karlaftis is. If there's a play that demonstrates who George is, this is it against Northwestern. But unfortunately, he can struggle against these bigger, stronger tackles. Against Daniel Fa'alele from Australia, man, he really had a disappointing game. And this was the tape that gave me cause for pause. He tries to go through the chest. The quick pass set, though, he's not able to do anything. He's not able to stack a move. He's not able to counter. He tries to throw a late rip. He can't go anywhere. He was just stonewalled every single time he tried to rush on the left-hand side of Purdue's D-line. And it was a little concerning to me. He's going to struggle against these power rushers if he can't beat them to the outside consistently, and he didn't show me that against Fa'alele. And then you watch the tape against Northwestern, and I talked about how he gave the right tackle trouble. Number 77 was phenomenal all game against George Karlaftis. This was a great example of another deficiency I kind of noticed for George, and it's the ability to turn his hips sometimes through contact. When he was able to shed and disengage quickly, the hips looked fine. On this occasion, he's got a hand on him, he rips underneath, very nice technique. But look as he rips and starts to turn the corner, the hips don't flip. They don't start to turn laterally to the sideline and give him an arc back to the quarterback. Now, in the end, he slips and kind of falls over and it looks kind of ugly. I'm not worried about that. It's a little wet. Yeah, that happens. I want to see these hips be more dynamic. I want to see them flip sideline to sideline and allow him to turn that corner. He just doesn't have the natural flip and flexibility in those hips, and that gave me a little bit of cause for pause when watching the George Karlaftis tape. So guys, that's the book on George Karlaftis. There were aspects of his game that I love, and you watch that Notre Dame game and you can see why he was touted as a top 10 pick. He's extremely powerful. He's quick, he's shifty for a 275-pound athlete. He's very good with his hand utilization. He's savvy and nuanced. He's able to chop and swim and put those moves together extremely well. But overall, I was a little disappointed with the consistency on tape. I thought against OSU, against Minnesota, against Northwestern, he left me wanting more. So that's why right now, he's not an option for me for the New York Jets at 10. If they take him, it's not a disaster, but he's not a guy I'm banging the table for.